So I just watched the finale, the season finale of From. A part of me is very, very disappointed. A part of me is very, very excited about some of the new things that we learned. So let's talk about the excited part first, okay? So at the end of the show, now I don't know if look. I gotta say, spoiler alert. Okay, so if you didn't see it yet, I don't want to give away all the answers. But Jim's wife, Tabitha, decided to follow the same path that Victor's mother wanted to do, which was to go to the lighthouse and was supposedly to help the children, and that was supposedly the way out. This turns out to be true. Okay, he was able to remember Victor where this specific tree was that she has to enter, and this specific tree takes her directly to the lighthouse. She gets to the lighthouse. Then there's that little boy. He's really not a little boy because he could have been there for friggin' a century, but he doesn't age. He remains, a little boy in the, white outfit. And he says, "I'm very sorry," apologizes to her, and he pushes her out of the lighthouse to her death. But this is the thing. She dies in the town. She wakes up in civilization. She wakes up in a hospital. I think it was St. Anthony Hospital. And as you could imagine, her family are still in the town. So she's in civilization, and her family is still trapped in the, whatever you want to call it, the from town, right? Okay. So it seems to me that Abby, Boyd's wife, was correct. Remember when Abby started shooting everybody, and she was trying to explain to Boyd that when I kill the people, they die in this town, but then they wake up in reality in the real world again. So it seems like Abby was correct. Now, so when Ellis was getting married, to Fatima, what happened was, Boyd, his mind was working. He's looking for solutions. He went to church. He was screaming at God. He's like, "Are you getting a kick out of this? Are you laughing at me that you're making a soul suffer?" And like he was flipping out. Then Donna shows up, and Donna convinced Boyd. She's like, "Look, your son is getting married. Do the right thing. Come on, go to his wedding." And of course, Boyd did. But then, while they were saying their marriage vows, Ellis said something about, "You are the light in the darkness." And this made, Boyd think of something. He's like, "Light in the darkness, light in the darkness." He remembered he had this torch. So he went to that same place where he was, remember, with the dungeon, when he went into the tree, and he ended up in the dungeon. Well, he went back to that same place. And the funny thing is this. It was all like empty. It was all dirt. It's like Sarah was able to hear the music box, but they couldn't find it. But the answer was that torch. So he lit up the torch. That was the lightness in the darkness. And it brought him back to that same dungeon that he was in with Martin. But the thing now is that he saw Randell. I'm trying to think of all of their names. I think it was Sarah, and then the girl. What's her name? I can't think of her name. The doctor's girlfriend. But anyway, the long story short, they were suffering. They were all like dying. All the cicadas went into them. Their mouths, everything, and their eyes turned backwards. They were white. They were screaming in pain, screaming. And they were suffering. Now, the controversy is that Abby was telling Boyd, "Listen to me. By you breaking or destroying the music box with the ballerina, you're delaying the inevitable." That's what she was trying to make him understand. Now, some people are speculating that that Abby was not really his wife. This was the entity. This was the evil entity. I have to disagree because I watched a few YouTubers on this. I think this was really Abby. Because if you think back, let's put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Abby believed from the beginning that you had to kill everybody in the town in order for them to go back to reality, right? And that's the same actual advice that she gave him again. So to me, I think that was Abby. I don't think that was the entity. In other words, what Abby is saying is that the town, here it is, are you ready? Wants you to have hope. Okay, and that might be what this whole thing is about. That might be what this whole experiment is about. Is the will to have hope, meaning to not give up, and maybe that's what the experiment is. I don't know if it's a government experiment. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know, but I think the experiment is the human will of hope. How much can you take? How much horror? How much can you deal with before you give up and just die? Of which dying in that town, in actuality, brings you back to the real world. Now, some people are speculating, well, do you have to go to the lighthouse and go all the way to the top where the little boy has to push you off the lighthouse and then, you wake up in the real world? Or other people speculate it doesn't have to be the lighthouse. In other words, every single person who died, like Sarah's brother, what's his name, Nathan, I think, when he died, that's it. He's now back to reality. He's back to the real world. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you go to the lighthouse. You die, you go back to reality. Here's the only thing now that we talked about the exciting part, I'll talk to you about the disappointing part. They didn't really give us any answers in terms of what this place is. What the F is this place? You know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense that they're in some sort of a dream state. Because if they were in a dream state, wouldn't like Tabitha be able to, like, here's an example. Like, let's say, like Tabitha, let's say this was a government experience. Tabitha woke up, right? She's now in the real world. Wouldn't she see her family now sleeping like they're in like a matrix? It's like a dream state. She'll be able to see her husband, her son, her daughter. But yet, she doesn't see them. So it doesn't seem like it's a dream state thing. Kind of seems like it's almost like some sort of Twilight Zone. It's like a purgatory or some shit. I don't know what it is. It's some evil, crazy shit. And that's the disappointing part. I want to know what this town is. And I got to wait 12 effing months. I got to wait a whole year to find out. That's what frustrates me. But other than that, they gave us a little bit of juice. You understand? They gave us a little juice. So apparently dying brings you back to the real world. So there it is. There's a little bit of an answer. But you see, the problem is Boyd has too much pride. Boyd has that warrior spirit. He'll never give up. That's why he broke the music box, the ballerina music box. He broke it because he's like, you hear what he said when he went outside? He was talking to the town. You will not break me. You will not break me. So I don't think Boyd's ever going to give up hope. But the thing is, you look at Victor, and he's been there his whole life. He's been there since a kid. Now he's an adult. So it kind of makes you think, how long will these people stay there? Will they stay there the duration of their entire life? You know what I mean? And maybe that's what the town wants. The town wants you to keep believing, keep having hope. Because the more hope you have, the more you will suffer. And I think that's what Abby was saying. I think that was his real wife. I don't think that was the entity. I think Abby was trying to tell him, let these people die. Because if they die, they're going back to the real world and their lives will begin again. And come back to me. Remember, Abby said that to Boyd, come back to me. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you think.